Hello learners, welcome to our session on event management. We have been trying to understand what is integrated marketing communications, and under that integrated marketing communications we have various aspects like advertising, like public relations and corporate communication, and now it is event management. So in this session I will introduce what event management is all about to you. This session will take care of what event management is, so we will understand the basics of event management, what we mean by it, what is engulfed in it, and what is inculcated through it. And then we will look at the types of events, we will look at the roles and qualities of event manager, we will look at technology and event management and how technology has brought an altogether different kind of a change in the entire arena of event management. We will also look at the overall advantages that event management as a discipline, as an area, as a profession has faced and has come across because of advent of technology. Then we will also look at managing human resources, which is a prime concern when we talk about event management. And then we'll talk about talent hunt, which is about how do we have people work with us on a temporary basis or on a contract basis as compared to when we hire them on a permanent basis. So this will be the coverage area of the session today. Let us begin. Event management. To define event management, it is the application of project management to the creation and development of small or large scale personal or corporate events. So broadly speaking, events are of two kinds. One is the personal kinds like a birthday party or an anniversary or something like that, and one is a corporate event. A corporate event is hosted by a company. It could be a press conference, which I have dealt with greater details in the public relations section, or it could be anything pertaining to an organization. It could be pertaining to politics through the government, intergovernmental things. All those form corporate events. Now, when we look at them through the prism of personal and corporate events, we look at how the project management is applied, the application of project management. While we are creating this event, it can be a small event like a small birthday party, and it can be a large event which can be a corporate event. So when we are applying project management to such kind of an event, this is what we term as event management. Event basically is a Latin word, and it originates from the word eventus, which means occurrence or outcome. So that is what we mean by event. Also, a thing that happens or takes place, especially one of importance, is called an event. So when do you see an event happening? When many people are interested in a certain kind of an event, and the kind of outcome that they are expecting is similar in nature. So all of these people will come together at a venue where this event is being hosted. So this is a thing that happens or takes place, especially which is of vital importance to people at large. So this is what we understand by event management. Looking at the types of events, there are various kinds of events. Like say for example, one is charity and fundraising event. Charity and fundraising means when one wants to volunteer, then you have a charity or fundraising function being organized. It can be through charitable auctions, it can also be through charitable shows. Charitable auctions are when you would see say for example a famous celebrity like Sachin Tendulkar auctioning his cricket bat, and the amount that is earned by selling that cricket bat would be going towards some social good. It could be for old age home, or it could be for an orphanage, it could be for a cyclone, it could be in the PM relief fund, wherever it goes. So charity is being done through organizing an auction of this kind. Another way is a charitable show, whereby you host a show of any kind. It could be a children's baby show, it could be anything pertaining to a larger interest of the audiences, and the amount that is earned by the activities that are performed or by the ticketing goes towards charity. So when you're raising fund for charitable causes, those are called charity and fundraising events. Then we also have cultural events. Cultural events are some things that you must have come across almost all the time during the year. Like it happens basically during the festival events like Diwali. You have Diwali melas going on, or during Eid or during Durga Puja. We have pandals being organized in various places all across the country. So those kind of cultural events are come under those cultural event section. Then we also have private events, which, like I was just talking about, could be a birthday or a wedding or an anniversary and the sort. Then there are also sports events. A lot of people are very fond of sports. It could be IPL, it could be Olympics, it could be Commonwealth Games, Asian Games, any of those sorts. So when you are organizing an event of that nature, what is it that you should take into consideration? When we say sports events, it has to be, number one is the ticketing system. Number two, the kind of arena or the auditorium that you're organizing the event in. Number three, the seating capacity and the audiences who are being invited, how you're going to get the audiences there. All those aspects are looked by the sports events. And then there are political or government events like speeches, party meetings and rallies. We all know that during election times we have so many rallies coming up on and off. So there are leaders who are popular, and to listen to them a lot of people would come over. That is one. The other is when these popular leaders, the politicians, organize rallies towards some cause or towards something that they're protesting against, anything of that, any kind of an issue of that type. That is called a government or political event. Also, there are party meetings, there are press conferences that are held on the headquarters of political parties every now and then on a very regular basis. That too comes under a government event. Then we have various religious events taking place, like conventions taking place, and there are speeches that are happening of the religious leaders, of the spiritual leaders. They form religious events. Another kind of event is what we all enjoy, the leisure and entertainment events. It could be in the form of a play, it could be people going for movies. So again, there is a certain number of public, there is a certain number of audiences who are coming, who are congregating together at one place, and then how they are together enjoying a certain experience. That comes under entertainment and leisure events. Also, we have fashion shows, musical events and award functions. Various kinds of fashion shows are organized by either fashion schools or by entrepreneurs who are fashion designers. Sometimes also by certain industries, say for example leather good industry. So they would organize a fashion show in order to showcase their products and in order to showcase the talent of the designers. So that is one example. Musical events is something which you may not be unfamiliar with. Like there are a lot of concerts that go on during the during festival seasons or even otherwise. So concerts that are happening on a national level, concerts that are happening on a city level, various kind of music events keep taking place. Also, when there are industries or companies who are organizing a certain event, and as a closure to that, one of the events that are organized could be a poetry recital session or a musical event. So those kind of events also fall under this category. And of course, then there are award functions. We all know the award functions have become so common on television these days. So you have award ceremony for films, for soap operas, for TV channels, for people who've done, who have produced very good ads, so on and so forth. So this too comes under the same award functions category. Then we also have academic events. Academic events, as students you would realize we have a number of seminars, symposia, conferences and various events of academic nature whereby people come together, they discuss what is going on, they discuss how things are progressing, how technology is affecting or how various things are having a an impact socially, culturally, economically, politically, so on and so forth, looking at the various aspects of it. This could also be, of course, scientific in nature. So there are science conferences which talk about certain, certain subjects and certain disciplines. So those are all academic events. Even a book inaugural can be an academic event. A lit fest, literature festival, is also an academic event, so on and so forth. Then we have corporate or business events. These are usually organized when you either have a new product to showcase, or which means you're launching a new product, or if you have come up with a certain kind of innovation that has made the already existing product or service better than what it was for the consumers. Say for example, development of new cars which do not produce any air pollution, or hybrid cars becoming less expensive. So those are the kind of, that's the kind of news which will call for a corporate event. So you will organize a business event and then you will make it a news and organize a press conference or a news conference whereby you will address the entire media talking about this innovation in this particular industry or technology and tell them how it has, how it can be of public good, how can it be of larger good to the society. So this is a corporate or business event. Then now let us look at the role of event manager. For all those who are concerned with the discipline of mass communication and who would like to take up event management as their profession, would be interested in joining an event management company, should know what the role of event manager is and what are the various qualities that are expected in an event manager. The first and foremost is understanding the nature of event and target audience. From the time I have been taking sessions on advertising and public relations and greater aspects of marketing, I have been saying that the most important aspect is the audiences whose concern you're trying to address through your event, through your product, through your service. So ideally, it is very important that you understand the nature of the event that you're going to organize with respect to the target audience, whether the target audiences would be able to accept that kind of an event, whether they will be interested in attending an event of that sort or no, is very important to understand. So again, you need to know the demographics, you need to know the interests, the habits, the consumption habits of your target audience, and then proceed with planning the kind of event which would suit their needs. Then of course you need to plan strategically to meet the management goals. There are always certain goals which are set in marketing. Also certain goals which must be met by, the reason why you're producing an ad is because you want to create awareness about your brand. The reason why you're carrying out a public relations campaign is because you want to build a certain kind of positive image which exists the way it exists. You want to either maintain it or you want to change it, or it has been tarnished due to some accident, some reason, and then you want to refurbish it. Those are the various reasons why goals are set up as far as marketing goes, as far as event management goes, or public relations or advertising. So one has to plan very strategically as to, once you've set your goals, how are you going to meet them. So the meeting of those goals in a strategic manner is very, very important. So one has to plan strategically to meet the management goals. Then of course, optimum utilization of allocated resources is necessary. A very good plan might just fall flat if you're not aware of the kind of resources that you have in your kitty. So the kind of allocated resources you have in terms of human resources, in terms of money, in terms of time, in terms of all other aspects that you would probably need in organizing that event, is very important to estimate and calculate, because only on the basis of that you will be able to utilize those resources optimally so as to produce the best possible results. So optimum utilization of allocated resources is again something that an event manager has to look into in order to make a decision which will yield good results. Then of course, project proposal, development, production and delivery. Now basically when we talk about this, the doing part of event management, the first and foremost thing is planning. So you produce a project proposal. What is the basic idea, the blueprint, the plan of action? And on that plan of action, how is it going to develop? How are we going to produce it to to reach those goals which we have set for ourselves? And once the plan is developed, how are you going to do the production part of it? So say for example, you're going to organize a fashion show. How are you going to organize the entire arena? Where would the models walk? Where would the judges sit? How would the audiences be placed? How will you make sure that there is no commotion, there is no confusion, and it is all very smooth, the transaction, the navigation of the models from the green room to the stage and then back, and the audiences, if they want to move out of the arena or come back into the arena, you have to ensure that there is a safe navigation for everyone. So this is the production aspect which gets involved in. And then of course the delivery, the final thing which you're going to put up. And then of course you're going to double check, you're going to cross check whether every possible thing which can be speculated, which can be needed during the time of the event is available, and various amenities and facilities are in place so as to organize an event successfully. So that is about the project proposal, the development, the production, and the delivery mechanism of the event. Then you have to adhere to the deadlines. It is very important to work backwards. So whenever you know that you want to, say for example, launch a new product, a new car in an automobile show in a month's time. So from that date, you have to calculate backwards as to how much time do you have to make the planning, to see to it that everything that is needed is there, to create the setup, to make the setup, to hire talent and to hire the venue, and whatever other necessary things are involved in it. So one has to adhere to the deadlines has to be short as well as the long term ones, and accordingly you have to adhere to them so as to first meet the short term goals and then in the longer run meet the basic main goals. Then you have to understand the budget constraints as well. There is no limit to how wonderful an event can be organized, but at the same time you must, you have to pin it down somewhere. So the kind of budget that is available for you for various things, so there are various, say for example, categories of budgets. So HR will be one category, and spending on the sets is one category, and then coverage, media coverage and all other things is another category. So there can be various categories looking at the magnanimity of the event and whether it is a formal event or an informal event. So various things would decide what the budgetary limitations would be and what the budgetary categories would be. So as an event manager, it is very important for you to gauge what kind of budgetary constraints you have while you're working on a project. Then of course you have to manage the suppliers. Say for example, you have to create a setup for a fashion show. There have to be various things that have to be supplied, right from the dresses to the makeup to the kind of sets that you're going to have and the way you're going to design the stage, the ramp and how the ramp would look, everything all together. And the, maybe the color, the interiors that you would do, the light, the sound, the mic, everything. So one has to manage the suppliers as well. Then you have to ensure customer satisfaction, because you can only ensure that these, the client will come back to you again only once he or she is satisfied. So the first experience has to be the best experience ever, and should be good enough that this client finds it okay to recommend your name to other clients as well. So ensure customer satisfaction to that level. Then those are the various roles that we talk about when we talk about event management. There are certain kinds of qualities that an event management must have. This can be the fact that he has to be or she has to be an excellent communicator. So when I say a communicator, you should be able to get across your point of view. What you think and how you think should be completely in cognizance with what the client wants and how he or she is looking at the entire event being held. And then of course the way the audiences are going to perceive it. So the ideation part of event is very, very important, just like advertising. So when you create an event, the idea that you have in head should be also, it should transcend to the audiences. Only then the communication happens successfully. So ideally one has to be an excellent communicator when it comes to that. Also you should be able to figure out what kind of news and how you're going to portray this in front of the media, in front of the audiences, in front of the various stakeholders, people who are the organizers, everybody in fact. So one has to be an excellent communicator. One also has to be a team builder and a leader. Team building is very important, especially in context of event management. I mean, not only in context, but then especially in context of event management, because event is something which hires people to work for it even on project basis. So later on in the session we will discuss what are the various problems associated with taking somebody on a contractual or a project basis. But when I say a team builder, you have to see to it that everybody is equally involved, they are motivated, they are committed, and they want to, they are able to give in their best. Everybody should find a chance to bloom and to produce the best results that they possibly can. And then of course you have to be a leader. Who is a leader? A leader is one who has followers. So ideally you should be in a position as a leader to judge what are the various, what is it that various personnel can need. As long as you're meeting their needs and you're taking care of the needs and not putting them in a blind spot or in a sticky spot, the team is going to be with you. So as an event manager, it is very important that you be a team builder and you be a leader. And of course, the most important, the core thing is that you have to be creative and you have to be an initiator. Being an initiator is largely attached with being a leader. You should learn how to take initiatives. You should know how to be a person who can inspire, who can motivate. So the initiator is a very important person, because he is the one who will take care of, who will take the first step towards anything. And of course one has to be very, very creative, because in the events industry, any ideas getting repeated constantly over and over again are stale. So you have to be very creative with your ideas. They should not only meet up with the theme, they should also be clear in communicating themselves. See, what all communicates? The colors that you use communicate, the setup that you've made communicates, the way things are being presented to the audience communicates, every single thing communicates. So ideally, what is that creative idea, what is that creative aspect that you're bringing into the event, which makes it sell, which makes everybody appreciate it and appreciate the idea of how it has been made, and which continues to stay in public memory for long. And then of course there are problem solving skills, because this is a kind of industry and this is a kind of profession where all the time people might just be panicking because of shortage of something, because of falling apart of something, because something is not coming across in the right manner and you have to meet the deadline. So most of the people have their panic buttons hit. In such kind of a situation, a good event manager will be the one who's more of a problem solver. So you don't have to let anxiety take the better of you, and you have to continue with your problem solving skills so that you can meet up maximum expectations. And then of course one has to be a multitasker. At one point of time one may be expected to do a number of things, like liaison with the media, like look at how the traffic is being managed. Say for example you are organizing an event which is of a very large scale, say for example the World Book Fair, which happens in Pragati Maidan in New Delhi every year, or the trade fair, which again happens at the same place. So it is an event which is of a large magnanimity. The number of footfalls that come into Pragati Maidan during these events is uncountable. So ideally you have to be a multitasker from the point of view that you also have to manage the risks, you also have to look at the opportunities, you have to look at the safety concerns, you have to see to it that the event is going on smoothly and is being taken in smoothly by the audiences, and nobody has a very rough experience. Make the experience as smooth as possible for the audiences also, as well as the organizers. So for this you have to be a multitasker. All these qualities together make a good event manager. Now let us look at technology and event management, as to how technology has changed event management and how technology has had an impact whereby things have become a little more different than what it used to be. So ideally, in a situation where there was no technology, events used to be organized in a manner where things used to be more linear in nature. But now things have become different. Let us look at how. Technology is integral to events, number one. So organizing, planning, reaching out to the target audience, collecting feedback, everything has technology involved in it. So when you're organizing an event, you go on social media and advertise for it that such kind of an event is going to happen in so short a time and everybody must attend, like that. Then when you're planning an event, you make use of technology. You make a model, a 3D model, then you see how it operates and whether it will be successful when implemented or not. Then reaching out to the target audience, you use various forms of publicity, be it they transit ads or be they a radio announcement or something coming in the newspaper or through Facebook, other social media, SMSs, everything. So technology has become ingrained in the process of marketing, in the process of event management, in the process of advertising at large. And then of course collecting feedback is important, and the most basic way, most cordial way of collecting feedback could be by sending across a link to a questionnaire whereby you ask a few questions and then you make the audience submit it. So technology has become integral to all sorts of events. Again, social media, event managers can make an official Facebook page. They also have official Twitter handles and LinkedIn and all those kind of things. They also write blogs. By the means of those blogs, they are able to convince the audiences on their point of view. They tweet through their Twitter handles about event announcements, about the latest on it, about whether it is getting, say for example, postponed due to something, so on and so forth. And then they can reach the target audience in real time. Why? Because they are making use of social media, they are able to reach the target audience in real time and without spending much. The next important thing is the live meeting. Because of technology, like we are all seeing during the times of pandemic, what we're basically using is technology in order to conduct webinars, in order for this Facebook session to happen, or for any kind of interaction, any kind of communication which earlier used to take place in a face-to-face manner is today taking place through live meetings. These live meetings can be in the form of webinars or in the form of Skype calls or WhatsApp calls, whichever way, video calling and all. And there are so many different kinds of technologies that are available in the market today, some of them even free of cost, through which you can connect to the organizers as well as to the audiences. Smartphones are again another aspect, and I need not stress on it so much, but we all understand how smartphones have promoted virtual presence of people and participation through text also and audio also and videos as well. And of course, there are websites and online registration apps. These websites and online registration apps basically are a one-stop shop because they are able to update you on the information announcements which are made in real time. They are able to invite and cancel invitations. So cancellations and invitations can be managed online, and of course payments, we all know, can be made online. So this is how technology has intervened in the process of event management. Now let us look at the overall advantages of it. The first and foremost and more important to a marketer is that it has a greater event life. The event life gets increased because of intervention of technology. Then one can immediately post the event schedule. As soon as your event schedule gets finalized, you would like to send it out to all the hordes of audiences who are waiting for that event to happen. It can also be assessed by people in real time. And access is very important because as long as there is technology, the access is full real time. It can be accessed at the last minute, changes can also be updated. As the last minute changes are being updated and errors are getting rectified immediately. So whatever errors are there, like earlier when there was no technology, people used to evaluate in a slower manner and there used to be midterm corrections only. Even today midterm corrections do exist, but technology has made it swift, technology has made it more accurate, technology has made it more updated. And then there is more personalized communication because we are all obviously through social media or through Facebook or through internet, we are able to speak to people in a more personalized fashion. So there is more one-to-one but technology mediated communication. And of course, there is better collaboration between the organizers and the attendees. So anything that the organizers set to change can easily reach the attendees at a very short time and in real time. So that is again an important overall advantage of the technology in event management. Now let us look at this, though I was only going to talk about the basics of event management, but human resources are a major part of this. So I just thought that in this session I should also discuss how we manage human resources. The challenge in managing human resources is especially during the time of recruitment and selection. This is because when people are hired on a temporary basis, it is difficult to keep them motivated and committed. It is difficult to build in any kind of loyalty for the company, amongst these employees. So there is a greater need to train the staff as well as the volunteers. And there is also, the biggest challenge is pulling the right talent. So one has to pull the right talent in the right place, who can perform better, train them, and of course look at the total HR budget. How much time, how many resources, how much resource has been allocated to you for this purpose. And the last bit of this session is on the talent hunt. When I talk about talent hunt, it is about picking the right kind of people. So figuring out which is the right talent for what kind of a thing, because everyone is not cut out for all sorts of jobs. You should be able to, as a good event manager, you should be able to figure out who is correctly cut out for what kind of a job. It is easier to reach prospective employees online. So the basic way of doing it, if you have to do it quickly and if to, as a professional, as an event management professional, if you have to take up people on a project basis, you first create a form for basic qualifications, work experience, job orientation, etc. Then you scrutinize those forms and shortlist the people for interview. Once you have done the interview, you found the people who match your job profile, match the kind of work you want to get done, then you extend the offer letter with the KRA. KRA are the terms, the key areas that people will be working in. And once the candidates consent to it, the appointment letter may be given. And in case of short-term employment, one always extends a contract letter only. Then there is, you must learn to incentivize in order to keep them motivated, since they are with you for a very short while and they have not been a permanent employee in your logbook. You have to incentivize. Now incentives can be financial as well as non-financial. When I talk of the financial incentives, I talk generally in terms of cash or in terms of bonus or increase in basic salary or such other allowances. But non-financial can be more in terms of gifts or say for example an off-site, a picnic, a letter of appreciation, so on and so forth. And of course a thank you get together is important after the event is finished, because that is a good closure to a project that you started. So that is all for the first session of event management today. Commonsensically think events. Thank you all.